Welcome back to the Hit in the Turnbuckle podcast. It's NWA Tuesday this week. Yeah, we're recording a day early. We managed to watch it all ahead of schedule. Normally, we record these on a Wednesday. Well, Fee's watched it ahead of schedule, not me. I normally watch it on a Tuesday. Fee normally watches on the Wednesday, and then we get in the booth, so to speak, the booth, i.e., Fee's front room, my front room, and watch and review NWA Power. Back to the territories free, and I have already mentioned her name, and she is definitely here, Miss Fiona Lochran. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I am very well. I am very well indeed. Looking forward to chopping some NWA up. But we have to go into the territories first before we
We
get
do.
into
We
Power
do.
this week. So the main event on Power, it basically involves the tag team champions of JCP, Joe Kazana Promotions, whatever you want to call it. But that was crowned this last week on the YouTube channel on JCP. So to go to Joe Kazana Promotions on YouTube, and you can subscribe. It's all free. You'll get to watch a weekly show from Joe Kazana Productions.
Well worth a watch, I might add.
I need to stop saying productions, promotions,
Promotions.
promotions of JCP, and it wasn't just an ordinary match. So to give you the story, the Stew Crew and the Country Gentlemen have done a best of five series. It's currently tied at 2-2. So what better way to do the rubber match for the JCP championships? And what match fee?
It was a War Games. It
We
was
need
so
William
much
Regal.
fun.
We need William Regal. War Games match. So let me get this right. I've got Stu Crew, the Zenith, and the Spank. That's I'm not quite sure. Yeah, that one.
I
Again,
don't know the background to the spank, but yes, you are absolutely right.
do you know what we need? Gagsby Spank on JCP. That's a whole new,
It's gonna leave
a whole nother
now.
level of stuff. And now I've got here against the Country Gentlemen. I think it was TVR and
TVR,
Joe.
so Big L and Devin Dixon.
Thank you. And
And Danny Joe.
Joe Kazana himself.
Joe Kazana himself, for the first time in 7 years, Joe Kazana himself was in a wrestling ring in
I,
a match.
I tell you what. So imagine you going to an independent wrestling show, two rings, a cage, and you're seeing war games like you would have seen back in the 80s, like you see at Survivor Series in WWE. It was absolutely incredible.
It was bonkers and I loved it.
It was so great. It had so much, there was just, I mean, they had everything in it. Started as it normally was, two in the ring. They do the countdown, somebody else comes in until all 10 guys are in there, and then the war games begins, and that's when it all starts. Was it Nick Dixon was busted to fuck in that.
There was a little bit of blood, let's be
Little.
honest, and they didn't go black and white.
Yeah, see, this is the good thing about not being on the CW and WA. You don't have to turn your screen.
And this is coming from a girl who doesn't really like deathmatch wrestling, but that, like, obviously not deathmatchy really, but that I can handle that. That side of things is all right. Like barbed wire baseball bats, that's okay for me.
Suffocation.
Hmm?
Suffocation, plastic bag overhead. What about that? Is that
No,
a bit
thank
too
you.
far? Yeah,
That's a
okay.
different kind of kink.
That's a different spank gags, suffocation. We were talking about the wrong show. Anyway, let's quickly get back onto this. Yeah, so Joe Kazana come in. He gets involved, obviously, because AJ's bleeding. There's tables, there's chairs, there's everything you can imagine in a War Games match.
AJ's wearing a very fetching crop top.
Yeah, AJ, when you come to the UK, I wouldn't recommend that, especially it depends where you're going and where you're booked. But some areas you may find,
Never
yeah,
know. You never know. It might work.
yeah. Listen, if someone the size of AJ Kazana wears it, I don't think he's going to get a lot of issue at all. But nevertheless, I mean, it was calling for a medic for Dixon at one point. Danny Dills had
Yeah.
to go to ringside to check on him because he was a crimson mass. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, this is a weekly episode of JCP. Everybody go on YouTube, watch it for free every week. It was
It's a
called
lot.
it was called War Ain't No Game this week. That was the word.
And it really wasn't a game.
No, it was a fight. It was just like one of those street fights that you see, but with a cage, 10 people locked in and weapons all over the place. It was crazy. Casey was in from the start, actually. Casey Kazana started, and he was the one that eventually tapped out in this
Mm.
match at the end and gave the Stu Crew the win, and thus winning the series 3-2, and thus winning the JCP Tag Team Championships. Now, why is
Which
that?
is why they're on this week's episode of Power.
Why is that important? You say they are main eventing for the titles this week against one of my favorite teams, Fixers, are in the main event. We'll get into that in a minute. So now we expect again, JCP, go and watch it. YouTube, subscribe. Jokers and Promotions. Go into Twitter, go onto YouTube and get subscribed and watch it every week. 45-minute show, great to watch during a lunch break or on your way into the office. So big time. It's on a Friday thing. It comes out. I'm sure it's a Friday.
I think so, yeah.
On a Friday. Go and watch it. Power. Let's get onto it. Back to the territories, part three.
Three.
The third week. Starts off with the Exodus Pro Championship match. Pretty Boy Smooth, big strong Mims. It's about telling how you feel on this show, and I don't hold back. I didn't like this one bit. I thought it was the styles was too similar. They were too. I mean, Pretty Boy Smooth. They was billing him at 7'1", 7'2". He's 6'9".
I don't think
Yeah,
he's quite that tall because he wasn't that much taller than Mims, and I've
yeah,
met Mims, and Mims is not that tall.
no. So when Danny was saying, I had to look it up, and he's actually around 6'9". I just felt like a couple of things. One, I just felt that it was too. There were two big guys.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes with Mims, when he's in there, he likes somebody that he can do that can take the bumps, that can, like a Colby Carina or even a Latimer in there with Mims would work because I didn't think Pretty Boy Smooth was that mobile on the feet. And listen, I'm not a wrestler, so whatever I take for what I say with a pinch of salt, but it was I just felt bored watching it. The other thing that I noticed was this felt like this was a dark match because the crowd. I turned on to Power and I thought I was watching AEW Dynamite for a minute. The crowd there was no existence in the crowd at the time, so I think they were coming in. So this may have been like a
Yeah,
pre-show, and
maybe
I
it was
think that
early on. I don't know.
it didn't help because it was silent. It was quite quiet in there.
Yeah,
Obviously, he had Pretty Boy Smooth. He had the pastor in there with him, right? That was right. He
yeah,
had the pastor. Yeah, and
he had the
Mim had
pasta.
Black cheese, which was always good
Even
to
Black
see.
Jeans didn't do a lot, and normally he's a bit more. I don't know. He was almost a little bit subdued in it, but
Yeah, it didn't work for me. Put it that way. It didn't for me personally. It didn't work. I didn't get into it. I'm very
what didn't work for me is the finish. Like
yes.
I hate countouts
Hmm.
for a championship match. Like
Yeah,
I feel like it's almost like penalty shootouts in football or soccer. Like it's just it's like almost a cop out.
yeah. It was. I mean, I could see it coming because there was a bit where just before the count out where they were out the ring for like an 8 count. And funnily enough, what actually threw me on it is I think just before that they got to 8. Mims didn't get into the ring. He got onto the apron, didn't quite get in, and then they pretty much pulled him back out, and the ref started
Yeah,
the count again, which was
again,
confusing
yeah,
because he didn't actually get into the ring. He got to the apron, maybe part of his arm may have got in the ring, but the full body wasn't in there. But
yeah.
at that point, I could sense it were going towards the count out, which is what you say is kind of a cop out, especially in a championship match.
What it has done though is for me is cement Mims as a heel now
Oh,
after
definitely.
being such a baby face for so long,
Yes.
particularly with him attacking Pretty Boy Smooth afterwards and things
Yeah.
like that. And I just think, okay, Jesus rubbing off on you, mate.
Yeah, he is. What I would say is that's probably the best part of the match for me, to be quite honest. That bit, with the bit when
The
he
bit at
attacks.
the end, yeah.
Um, it's one of those. They just sometimes they don't work. It's just one of those. I didn't sense the chemistry between them either. It just felt like there wasn't a lot of bumping in
There
it
was
too much.
something missing.
Something wasn't quite right. That was just my taste. I'm not saying that that's again, I'm not Dave Meltzer. No one gives a shit what I give a star rating to a
Do we
match.
give a shit about Meltzer?
I don't give a fuck about Meltzer, to be quite honest. But the bottom line is like it didn't work for me. That's the simple. That's how I'm going to put it. And I'm not going to just come on here and love everything, because that was not going
No,
to.
you can't. You've got to be objective, haven't you?
And it is very rare that I don't like a match on Power, to be quite honest. It's very
Yeah.
rare that I can't pick a positive from it. Generally, I think there's maybe one or two across. This is like the 60th episode or something that we've done of Power, and there's only been one or two things that I've not liked, and this unfortunately falls into that category. But hey ho,
It
it is what it is.
happens.
It happens. It happens, and that's where it was a count out, as you say, double count out to the match, and nobody. So Pretty Boy Smooth retains the Exodus Pro Championship. Mims fully fledged heel, as you say now, after that attack after the bell. And we move on to NWA 76 potentially in a few weeks. We were debating before we were started recording when we're going to be seeing it. It's seemingly soon, just because you mentioned that Joe said something on commentary.
Yeah, Joe had said at the very start, just at the start of that Pretty Boy Smooth and Mims match, was saying, "Oh, this is a series of tapings before we move on to our biggest show of the year, the anniversary show." So I'm like, "Oh, maybe one more week of territories action, and then please take me to 76."
Yeah, I would like that personally, to get there as quickly as possible, because obviously,
And then that would mean we're only a month behind, which is much better.
yeah, and also on top of that, they do have Samhain, which they're going to be doing taping very, very soon. And again, not to have that at Halloween wouldn't make a lot of sense.
I know. And plus, you've got your 2 days tapings and you've got your 2 days tapings in Tampa on the 6th and 7th of October.
Yeah,
They're going to be in New York for 2 days in
yeah.
Queens.
They've actually just moved that venue due to ticket demand.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
due to demand, NWA on tour for September 28th will be relocating. And they're going to be at the All Sports Neville in Melville, New York.
Nice. That's cool. That's positive news. I like to hear that. That's
Yeah,
good.
very, very good that they're relocating. But yeah, hopefully not too long for 76. Hopefully not too long again after the Samhain taping that we get to watch Samhain as well. So we will see, but hopefully a week or two away from starting NWA 76. Fingers crossed. The only thing I would say maybe an extra week is we need to find out who's going after the tag titles. There's a lot of things that we don't really know what's
Yeah.
going on. So anyway, let's crack on and we'll find out. Now King Bees were next, talking of tag team, defending the Women's Tag Team Championship against Caribbean Flow.
I quite like the fact that they now have a tag team name.
Yes, La Rosa
Ruthie
Negra.
J and La Rosa Negra. I like it. Caribbean Flow. Not sure. I'm not sure about the name, to be honest with you, but I just like that they have one.
They got a name. The five-star athlete Ruthie J, La Rosa Negra, Caribbean Flow. I like it. As you say, it's gone from not liking it to liking it. I did like this. I felt Ruthie in this was the star though. I really did. She looked really impressive on this. They did do a part during this, I don't think it may have been the bees that done a long vertical suplex on one of them. I was like counting down, thinking, blood, blimey, they're going
It
all
was
right.
on Ruthie.
I was on Ruthie there.
Yeah, it was on Ruthie. Yeah.
It was a brilliant on this.
That's a nice blood rush to the head for sure.
It did go. Again, I felt the crowd was waking up during this. I felt as if like it started dead for the first one. As this match was going on, it was getting louder, and more people had come into the. You could see more people had come into the building
Yeah,
by then, and so the crowd was picking up, and they were getting into it during this. I still really like the King Bees as a tag team. Uh,
I do. I'm quite fond of them, to be honest with you. I hope. Yeah, I do like them. I'd be interested to see them as singles wrestlers as well, and I'm always
yeah,
like that with the tag team. I always kind of want to see them what they're like on their own because you never really get to see their full repertoire, so to speak,
yeah,
when they're in a tag team. So I'd quite like to see them as singles. But I really like them. And again, there was a little nod from Joe saying that they were hoping that the next territory would be kind of from their area in
Texas.
Texas, and they're from Houston, and I know that there is rumors swirling around.
Mm.
So we'll need to wait and see what happens, but that'd be quite cool if they got their own territory.
Fiona turned into Sean Ross Sapp with your rumor and potentially new, a new territory out of Texas. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, hey, listen, if you're going to do a territory, just come over here and get a territory
I
over in
know,
UK or
absolutely.
Scotland. And I'm sure Premier British Wrestling would love to be an NWA territory or something
I
like
am sure they would. I'm
that.
sure
Sure,
they
the Ignite would as well. So there you go. You got two right here and waiting. Billy, just make it happen. It would just be good to see the NWA over here. Would be an amazing thing, and hopefully in the future, who knows? We'll see. Hopefully, we can get it back on telly soon as well.
Yeah, that would be a good start.
No, that
Let's
would
not
be.
open that can of worms again.
Let's not start that. Anyway, in this back, there was a missed frog splash in this, and then a roll up, which
And that was a huge frog splash as well.
I got some airtime during the flog splash that was missed. But I was quite surprised that it kind of they rolled that, the Kiwis rolled them up after that. It wasn't like they're going to hit a finisher. It just went straight into a roll up.
No, like Rosa came off that top rope and she hit that mat hard and it was straight into a roll up. So Danny got the pin for the win for the King Bees. But yeah, I enjoyed it. There was a couple of near falls.
Yeah.
There was a couple of good wee back and forths between them. So yeah, I thought it was pretty decent all in.
Yeah, I did like that one. I really did. The King Bees retain. Assuming now they go on to 76 as champions, we'll see. We'll have to do a 76, 76 prediction show. That might be difficult. Um, No spoilers here. But yeah, going into 76 as champions, who they're going to go against, we'll have to wait and see coming up. I'm sure we'll find out on Power very, very soon. My favorite part of the day now, and the Crossfire team picked up on it as well. Last week, I was very, very excited when this flashed up on the Power screen. Juventud, the juice I hadn't seen in so long. And to the man that's got, because Danny Deals would say he was going against the man that's got the best entrance theme.
If you like white noise. Mm.
It just feels
Although
like
to be fair, I go to sleep with white noise at night, so
did it put you to sleep watching it today? Zion. Uh,
with a very gold-clad Austin Idol.
yeah, Austin Idol. Yes. Very gold clad Austin Idol. But the juice was in NWA. He took the mask off. I wasn't sure if he was going to take the mask off. He looks in good shape.
He does. He looks brilliant now. It's been several years since I last saw him. I showed you the photo. I
Yeah.
told you about the last time I met him in London, a good few years back now. Um, he's not aged.
He's not missed a step either.
He's really not. I actually, not gonna lie, like I was like, oh my God, this could be interesting. I thought this was fab. I really enjoyed
Uh,
it.
and because people always sit there and say you're going to be biased because you was excited to see Hoovy. I would have said exactly what I felt about it. I love this. He was so good. He got the crowd going as well. He was hyped. He was doing all
The crowd
the
were right into this one. They
they
really
loved this.
were.
They absolutely loved it. And it was again a little bit of a difference in style. Zion was the sort of mat-based, the mat-based grappler,
Yeah.
really. And then you've got Hoovy, it's going to fly around. He didn't fly around too much. And Danny Deals kept making a point. They can't do the 450 in eggs.
450, 450 spot. It just
Yeah,
it just never quite materialized.
it didn't. But he's still quick though. Hoovy's still like,
He is. What they said he had was it 30-year career they were saying? So
yeah.
God knows I don't even know how old he is now, but he must be getting on.
I'll just go on to the tin.
The
While we talk, this was for the Crossfire. Forget to mention this was for the KFW, the Crossfire Wrestling Championship, which is held by the aforementioned Juventud Guerrera. This was, I said, this was great. I mean, there was like you got him with a spike. He's 49, right? 30 years.
Okay.
He's only a few years older than us. Anyway, yeah, and he done a spike Karana. So what that is, guys, is a Hurricane Rana on the floor. Pretty much that Zion was sort of bent down. He took his leg around, spiked him into the floor. Done a juvie driver on him as well. Did the frog splash, didn't get the victory. I thought he was going to do the 450 at that point. I was like, go
I
on,
know. I was
Julie.
like, oh, I was literally sitting watching it going, Adam's gonna pop.
I was literally waiting. I was waiting. Hit the frog splash, got a two. Zion locked in the Z clutch, which is very rarely do you get out of it. Hoovy clutched the rope. He didn't let go. The confusion for me here with this, and I put a lot of question marks, was why was it ruled a no contest
Instead of like a DQ.
instead of a DQ win for Hoovy? Because Zion didn't let go of the ropes with the 5 count. That's a DQ, and the victory goes to the person who, in this
So
case, would
yeah,
be
I
Guerrera.
don't know, but all I was sitting going, oh my God, Zion's doing a Baron.
He did, yeah. So
Because
yeah,
he wouldn't let go, and that's bad. That's what Baron does. Baron like gets that claw and he won't let go. And if you're in that claw, you're screwed. And I was like, holy shit, like Zion's doing a Baron.
he
Stealing his
was.
gimmick.
He was stealing the gimmick of the Baron. Yeah, and it was quite surprised because the referee then threw it out, and I was like, "Oh, why did he throw it
Yeah,
out?
so
Why did
I'm not sure how that worked. I would have there's obviously reasoning behind it. I would have thought it would have been a DQ
Yeah,
and and Hoovy would have got the win that way, but I don't know.
I have no idea what happened, but
There's obviously some sort of rule somewhere because it was a championship match or whatever, or
maybe, maybe. But nevertheless, Hoovy retains via no contest in this occasion. Great to see Hoovy though. I hope that they bring him back because I thought that was.
do you know what? If he's part of the territories now, I don't think it'll be the last we see of him, to be
I
honest
hope
with you.
not. I know that they did say that on title match. I think Kenzie was saying that they're on there. I'm gonna have
Mhm.
to check out. I think I'm gonna have to have a look because I can't. I like my Hoovy, and they've got Jay Lethal coming at their show in October. They've got a show this week,
Yeah,
I
they
think, as
do. Their big
well.
October show, isn't it?
Yeah, and they got a show this weekend, I believe, as well. And
They
then they've
do.
got the Black Harvest in October. That's going to be, I think, it's going to be on Title Match TV. Well, having said that, we've just become on air, they was looking at for a production company. So, there's any production companies in America that wants to produce some wrestling. They're looking for a live stream. Funnily enough, me and Rachel are not available. We made our live stream debuts this weekend. It's live streaming through a stand and a phone on the. But anyway, Ignite. But no, if any production company. See, I was getting production companies. See, this is where I was getting confused earlier with JCP. Any production companies out in America that want to or can do production of wrestling, get in touch with them because they're looking for someone to help live stream an event, which we would like to see if that is
I
the
would love to see it.
me too. Moving on. So this was the main event now. So as we said earlier on, we started with the War Games. That was on JCP last week. The Stu Crew became the JCP Tag Team Champions, and they's first defense was against the Fixers. Fixers! Bradley and Wrecking Ball.
I still can't deal with Jay Bradley without a beard. It just looks wrong.
Yeah, he needs to grow that beard back,
No,
Jay.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I just keep looking at him going, is that Jay? Like, I'm so used to him having it that
Yeah.
to see him without it, it's just strange.
This one didn't even get into the ring for a while.
No, they just, wow. Like, it took a couple of minutes for the bell to ring for the start of the match, but the Fixers pretty much tried to destroy the Stu Crew on this one.
They did. It was meat madness, this one. Absolute. They were going all over the place. Again, I thought it was going to do a bit more of Ken's going through the street fight from last week, the week
But
before.
they
But
were all over the outside of that ring, all over. And at one point, it looked like somebody was going to get body slammed into the crowd.
would have been surprised. One of the Stuku didn't even get his jacket off throughout
Mm-mm.
the start of this. Got until really deep into the match. He didn't get the jacket off. And again, this was one where the hot tag pays dividends on this for the Stu Crew. They were just kicking seven bells out of each other for this one.
They really were. They really, really were. I was just kind of like, oh,
And would the Stu Crew's reign last? Well, the answer to that is yes. A crucifix pin, for Christ's sake. We're
which is
going
quite
through.
outstanding
Yeah,
considering what happened and how much of a kicking they'd taken.
it was mad. We've had a roll-up victory, a count out, a DQ, and now a win by a crucifix pin. Only on the NWA guys will you see such things like that. But it didn't end there, did it? I mean, they were kicking. The fixers. This
Yeah, not happy.
they weren't happy and they was taking it out on the Stu Crew, and the Stu Crew got absolutely annihilated
Mhm.
by the Fixers on this, and it's quite incredible how that ended. That ended Power. However, They did mention one match for next week,
They did a 5-on-5 tag team match.
which pits the Southern Six, Tiffany.
Virtual?
No, I'm not that far yet. Hold on.
Oh,
Southern Six. This is the first team.
okay,
Southern
sorry.
Six. All three members of the Southern Six.
So that's
Tiffany.
3, not 6.
Yeah,
Just in case anyone's confused.
yeah. Tiffany Neves, Rekka, yeah,
Reka Tahaka.
thank you. Against the Country Gentleman,
Okay,
Bertram,
okay.
Taylor Rising, and Big Mama.
Big Mama. I got
Okay.
confused with Virtual being in the middle. I thought he was on the other
I had
side.
to I had to replay it to find out who were the teams. So I saw it, I was like, oh crap, they're doing this a match for next week. I've got to write it down.
Ah!
And I had to go back to see who it was. Should be a great 5-on-5 mixed person tag next
That'll
week.
be interesting because we've not seen Silas for a while. So that'll be good to see.
Interestingly enough, and I just wonder, and I don't know if Alex Taylor's going to have the title at this point, because he does beat Joe Alonso for the junior heavyweight championship. And it was definitely before back.
What's it at the territories match that
Oh, it was at a
happened?
house show or like an indie
So
show.
he
So,
must, surely he must have it.
so we'll find out, I suppose, next week if that's the case. But he definitely won it by then. He's definitely won it by then. Near enough guaranteed that he has done.
That'll be fun.
It
I
will be
wonder
fun.
what else will air next week. Because I'm like them to not give too much away on only just the one match. Normally they
Mm.
have. Normally they
Yeah,
kind of let
cool.
you know what's coming up. I'm sure stuff will come out during the week, but
Yeah.
I think obviously all the territories, because that was KFW, JCP, Exodus,
Hmm.
they all had a title match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can remember that people had seen, they said they'd seen there, but I'm not sure.
I thought, oh no, Katina was on Power, wasn't he? I'm sure
Yeah,
Katina was wrestling at Back to the Territories and Hunt. Oh, we saw Hunter Drake.
there must be other matches still to go that we've
Yeah.
not seen. But
Definitely, definitely so. But all in all, first match aside for me, again another
it was
really.
a it was a solid episode. Not by any means my favorite either.
Hmm.
But it was still solid.
Yes.
I don't think there's ever been an episode where I've sat and gone, that was rubbish. I didn't enjoy it. Highs and lows, basically.
Yeah, definitely so. Highs and lows is definitely the key to this one. But as you say, still a very solid episode of Power. Very enjoyable for the most part. And the 5-on-5 tag match next week. And then obviously we've got another JCP to get through as well this coming Friday. If all goes well, there will be another episode of JCP on YouTube. If you're in America, you can watch NWA on the CW app. Anywhere else, get a VPN, guys.
Pretty much. Maybe they'll get around to fixing it eventually, but I mean, we've only been waiting 9 months, so
We've been waiting as long as a pregnancy so far.
my God, I could have had a baby in that time.
You could
Oh.
have done. Yeah, yeah. One's enough for me. I never want to, I never want to have another kid in the rest of my life. Yeah, I never want to think about that ever again. But anyway, you were a busy bee this weekend. Why don't you tell everyone what you was doing?
I was I was a busy beat the weekend. On Friday, I was at PBW in Larbert, which was a whole lot of fun. And then I got a wee SOS on Friday to go up to Dundee for Scottish Wrestling Entertainment, SWE. So I was up there. So that was fun. A nice wee road trip with TJ and Saqib,
Yeah,
which was nice to catch up with them. I've not seen them for a little while. This weekend, I'm with Main Event Entertainment, excuse me, somewhere down in the Lanark Valley. I can't remember the name of the location, which is really bad. I really need to do my homework before these shows. So I'm there on Friday. We still got some tickets left at ringsideworld.co.uk. Next Friday, so a week on Friday, no, sorry, a week on Saturday, which is the 28th of September, PBW return to Airdrie Town Hall. This is huge for us. We've not been there for 4 years. They were refurbing and it was closed for a long time, and various other things have gotten in the way, but we're back in Airdrie. When I used to watch shows just as a fan before I got involved in doing all the stupid things that I now do. Um, I used to love going to that venue. It's one of the venues where I took my now 15-year-old to his one of his first ever shows when he was about 3. Um, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. We're hyping it up to be a good one. Um, there's lots coming up on that, so that'll be good. So yeah, there's loads coming up over the next couple of months. But yeah, immediately main event entertainment on Friday and PBW a week on Saturday, which will be good.
Brilliant. Well, we've just come off the back of another great show at Ignite. Mark True did successfully retain the Turnbuckle Championship. And the Fatal Four-Way was great. We had JJ Gow, we had CPF in this as well, Danny Black and Joe Lando. Although there was a slight bit of controversy in the match. You see, CPF hit their finish on JJ Gow, had the match won. Both men went to pin JJ Gow and the ref wouldn't make the pin because only one person can be the champion. So that allowed Mark to capitalize and do a belt shot, throw the other one out the ring, hit JJ with a 450 and retain the belt. So yours truly had to get in the ring after the interval. I've got pictures I can
You
send
didn't
you.
trip through the ropes or anything?
Oh,
All
I can
good?
show you the video. I'm a pro at this shit now, right? I got in the ring and I had to announce it in November. Mark will be defending the title again, but in a tag team match, interestingly enough. So it's going to be CPF because they had the match once, so Danny Black and Joe Lando, against Mark True and his close personal friend, Kieran Lacey, in a match where whoever gets the pinfall becomes champion. So if Danny Black or Joe Lando pin Mark or Kieran, whoever gets the pinfall wins. If Kieran Lacey pins Joe or Danny, he gets the belt from his partner, Mark True.
Wow, that's quite hmm. That's quite an interesting concept for me because I'm like, who are you going to double cross? Are you going to cross your tag team partner?
I see. I
Lots of
mean,
psychology going into that one. Lots of mind games between the four of them, I
well, I'm trying to
imagine.
play mind games with Mark True, so that's another. Although I have to say, congratulations, he's going to become a dad soon. So I do have to congratulate Mark on that. You were talking about pregnancies a minute ago. But going back to my Ignite thing, I channeled my inner Vince Russo to come up with a really interesting tag idea for a tag match. But that's not all. The Vulture is arriving at Ignite in November for the very first time. The Vulture, being Mr. Spike Tribay, will be making his Ignite debut and has got his sights set on the Ignite Championship, which was Tommy Kyle, who successfully beat Connor Mills. And I do have to say, I mean, that match was great, but Connor, he literally, this was it, right? So he come to the venue. He had wrestled in France at midnight, got on a
Nice.
plane, come straight to the venue, and then wrestled the main event against
That's
Tommy
dedication
Kyle.
for you.
And,
The things we do for the things we love.
Indeed. So I have to have a big shout out for that because that, geez, that is, I mean, I saw he obviously was upstairs with me. His back was like fucking cut to bits before, obviously from the night before. And he had, but Connor, it was great anyway. And thanks so much for coming out. And we'll hopefully have you back soon at Ignite. But do check out the women's match when it comes out, everybody. Aluna and Sapphire. If you want strong style, hard hitted women's match, when they put that on YouTube, go watch that because that is something special. We could be breaking some news anytime soon. Can't really discuss what that is all about at this time, but Fee, you can. I'm sure we both can't, and we're both looking forward to what that news could be. Who knows? We'll have to leave it at that for now, but hopefully we'll be in a better position next week to
Exciting times.
exciting times. Hopefully, we'll be in a better position. Maybe the news may have even dropped by then. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But exciting times could be on the horizon for us, and we'll keep you all posted on that. But Fee, it's always thank you as ever for joining me. And as I
You're
always
more
say,
than welcome.
shall we do this again next week?
Let's do it next week.
Let's do this again next week. We hope to see you before next week, as obviously more shows are coming out across YouTube this coming week. But we do hope to see you next week for another NWA Back to the Territories Part 4. But until then, she has been the wonderful Miss Fiona Lachlan, who will be hopefully wearing the merch next week. It's on her way.
I'm wearing the NWA merch
You are.
tonight.
Scan the QR code. You can come and that will take you to our link tree, and you can subscribe to us. HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast on Instagram. But we'll do this again next week. We hope to see you there too. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.